This is the Burundi National TV. You keep on watching. We are broadcasting for Bujumbura, the economic capital city. It's time for English News edition. On the presentation, you are alongside I, Eva Christian Yumuru. Straight to the top stories. This Monday, October 13, marked the commemoration of the 64th anniversary of the assassination of Louis Rwagasore the Prince, the hero of Burundi's independence. The ceremonies were highlighted by the laying of words at the mausoleum of Prince Louis Rwagasore by the head of state Evariste Ndayishimiye in tribute to the symbol of national unity. In this week's sports highlights, we conclude by revisiting the match between the Kenyans Harambee Stars and Burundi's national team Inamba Murugamba, a match won by the Kenyans with a score of 1-0. We also look back at the victorious return of the Lazy Port team from competitions held in Kenya, as well as the women's cycling competitions that have been taking place here in Burundi over the past few days. The match. Yes, welcome again in details. This Monday, October 13, marked the commemoration of the 64th anniversary of the assassination of Louis Rwagasore the Prince, the hero of Burundi's independence. The ceremonies were highlighted by the laying of words at the mausoleum of Prince Louis Rwagasore by the head of state Evariste Ndayishimiye in tribute to the symbol of the national unity. For more details, our colleague Ohol Kamkama LC.
Musique à son excellence, Monsieur le Président de la République.
It is exactly at 20 minutes to 8 a.m. that the head of state Evariste Ndayishimiye arrived at the mausoleum of the Prince Louis Rwagasore, hero of independence of Burundi, assassinated on 15th of October 1961. Upon his arrival, the head of state Evariste Ndayishimiye has laid wreaths at the Prince Louis monument. Where represented those ceremonies, the Prime Minister, the Vice President, the Senate and the National Assembly speakers, the Supreme Court President, the Ombudsman, former President Sylvestre Ntibantunganya, former First Ladies, and the other authorities. At 11 minutes to 8, Burundi head of state Evariste Ndayishimiye and all other high-ranking personalities present went straight to Regina Mundi for the cameras of the late Prince Louis Rwagasore, Burundi national independence hero.
A memorial mass marking 64 years since the assassination of Prince Louis Rwagasore was held this Monday at the Regina Mundi Cathedral in Bujumbura. The ceremony brought together the highest authorities of the country, including the President of the Republic of Burundi, Evariste Ndayishimiye. In his homily, Anatole Rwerinyange, Vicar General of the Archdiocese of Bujumbura, urged Christians and all believers to become true witnesses of Christ by being a source of blessing to others. He called for unity, the overcoming of divisions, and encouraged the faithful to follow the example of Rwagasore the Prince. LC Ohor Kamkama once more.
Here we are at Regina Mundi Cathedral Church. The cameras for Burundi independence hero Prince Louis Rwagasore was being celebrated. Were present in that mass different authorities, starting by the head of state Evariste Ndayishimiye, the National Assembly Speaker, the Senate Speaker, their two vices, the Vice President, the Prime Minister, the Supreme Court President, the Ombudsman, former President Ndayizeye Ntunganya, former First Ladies, the UPRONA party members, the Vice President of General Secretary of CNDD-FDD party, the police and the army high officials, the diplomatic corps accredited to Bujumbura, the Prince Rwagastory family members, and many others. In his homily, the Vice of the Archbishop of Bujumbura Archdiocese, Anatole Rugerinyange, has called on Christians to be embracing to others, to be unified, and to avoid discrimination of any kind, taking an example to Prince Rwagastory, and without forgetting to fight for human rights. Anatole Rugerinyange took the opportunity to remind that there is a final day for everybody, a day when everybody will go before God and explain how they behaved.
Yes, let's now move to Gitega, the Portugal capital city of the country, where the 64th anniversary of the assassination of the national independence hero Rui Rwagasore the Prince was also commemorated. The ceremony took place at the monument dedicated to this iconic figure, located in the heart of the city under the patronage of the governor of Gitega province, Liboire Bigirimana. Details. In Gitega province, the ceremony is marking the 64th anniversary of the assassination of the father of Burundi's national independence, the late Prince Rui Rwagasore, were presided over by the provincial governor Liboire Bigirimana. The event took place at the monument erected in memory of the late national hero and was attended by high-ranking provincial officials, residents from the urban center of Gitega and the surrounding areas, as well as students from various schools based in the Portugal capital city. The ceremonies began with an ecumenical prayer offered by representatives of the Catholic Church, Protestant denominations, and the Islamic community. This was followed by the laying of words at the monument by the provincial authority, the communal administrator for Gitega, representatives of the late Rwagasore's family, and the delegates from various political parties, including CNDD-FDD, UPRONA, FRODEBU, ADL, APDL, SNL, and CODEBU. The keynote address was a lead reading of a historic speech delivered by Prince Rui Rwagasore on October 18, 1961, following the electoral victory of his party, UPRONA. In essence, this speech emphasized a call to UPRONA members to coexist peacefully with the supporters of rival political parties and to become leaders in promoting unity and national development. Rwagasore presented himself as a unifying figure for all citizens, excluding no one. He also firmly opposed those who disturbed public order, also to undermine the government. The late prince further advocated unwavering dedication to lead Burundi along the path of development in all its dimensions. Remaining in the same area, administrative authorities in Gitega province have welcomed the passage of the peace torch through the various communities of the province. According to them, the flame carried a powerful message calling on them to be a guiding light for the population. The governor of the province, Gitega, Liboire Bigirimana, reaffirmed their commitment to continue implementing the essence of this message. He also urged all administrative officials to guide the population towards activities aligned with the 2040-2060 vision. A partnership was signed this Thursday between Brarudi and transport associations to strengthen drivers' knowledge on road safety. Jennifer Nkurunziza, Director of Institutional Affairs at Brarudi, stated that these agreements will help to reduce the rate of road accidents. For more details, our colleague Marius Mohigwe.
These partnership agreements were signed between Brarudi and the three transport associations, to name Wasiri, Motorcycle Drivers Association, and the Transport Association Atrabu, as well as Burundi Red Cross. Jennifer Nkurunziza, the Director of Institutional Affairs at Brarudi, stated that the purpose of these agreements is to strengthen drivers' knowledge so that they can better understand the traffic code, which will help them to reduce the rate of road accidents. As a part of the same initiative, Brarudi also donated equipment to the National Police of Burundi to measure drivers' blood alcohol levels. Police Colonel Etienne Chitegetse, in charge of road traffic, explained that this equipment will strengthen the initiatives already in place and improve road safety. Yeah, we'll let you know that these partnership agreements are part of Twaraneza Nhuisanga Misanganya campaign launched by Blarudi to reduce road accidents in Burundi.
Now, in the domain of trade, cross-border traders operating between Burundi and the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, at the Gatumba border post are requesting more facilitation in tax payments and a quicker inspection of goods to verify customs clearance. They say the current procedures cause long delays, forcing them to spend extended periods waiting. These concerns were raised following the official launch of the Gatumba border post as functioning customs point at the beginning of October. For details of this element, we owe it to our colleague Joseph Murinda Jambo.
We are at Burundi and the Congo border of Gatumba, where a custom office was recently established to facilitate cross-border trade between Burundi and the Democratic Republic of Congo. This measure aims to support traders, promote economic development, but also officially regulate the flow of goods between the two countries, which were previously limited or informal. Traders with whom we spoke say that it is important to pay taxes to contribute to the development of the country, but plead for a reduction in customs clearance fees, taking into account the value of their goods, especially for those who carry out small businesses. Others complain that they spend a long time waiting for the control and regulation of the entry or exit of goods at this Gatumba Customs Office. We remind that the Gatumba Vimvila Customs Office in Bujumbura Province began operating as a fully fledged customs office from October 1st, 2025.
Before wrapping up our news edition, let's have a look at sports now. In this week's sports highlights, we conclude we'll visit the match between the Kenyans Harambee Stars and the Burundi's national team Intamba Murugamba, a match won by the Kenyans with a score of 1-0. We also look back at the victorious return of the Lazy Po team from competitions held in Kenya, as well as the women's cycling competitions that have been taking place here in Burundi over the past few days. Details. The skillful ball handling and offensive play by Intamba Murugamba players could not have produced the goals, yet it did not prevent Kenya's Harambee Stars from walking away with a win at Intwari Stadium. A single goal was all it took for the Kenyan national team to defeat Burundi's Intamba Murugamba in this qualifying match for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. After the match, Harambee Stars coach Benny Markati stated that it was far from an easy match, as players did not perform as expected in the early stages. On his part, Patrick Sangwa Mayani, coach of Intamba Murugamba, remarked that fans always find something to blame whenever a team loses. The Lazy Po team trampled over Kenya's Ulinzi Warriors in the final of the East African Zone 5 Championship held in Nairobi, returning home with the trophy. Their coach Joswendi Mukakiza noted that despite the absence of 3 key players, they still managed to clinch the title. To conclude the women's cycling competition held in Burundi over several days, cyclists completed 7 laps around the city of Gitega. Zungurana Ramsa from Burkina Faso finished first, earning the gold medal. Bamoga, also from Burkina Faso, came second and took silver, while Metoe Vicedo from Benin secured a 3rd place with a bronze medal. Odette Nsengiumva was named the best cyclist of the tournament. Burundi emerged as overall winner, taking 3 victories out of 5 stages. The Secretary General of the Burundian Cycling Federation, Tedzide Hussein Nsengiumva, expressed pride in the nation's success, adding that Starting next year, Burundi will feature on the international calendar on the Global Cycling Federation. He used the occasion to call upon the Burundians to support Odette Nsengiyumva as she prepares for the upcoming competitions in Kenya. Matthias Manirakiza, Director of Sports at the Ministry of Youth and Sports, emphasized that such events project a positive image of the country and contribute to the national development. Young female cyclists from different countries testify that Burundi is a beautiful country.
Et qui est le Tombou, avec les montées, les descentes, et le paysage est trop magnifique.
Wow, this is the end of our news edition. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned.